Oumuamua may be the most mysterious object ever observed in space.
What is it, where does it come from, and is it a natural formation or something else entirely?
What exactly is Oumuamua? Well, we really don't know. It's a mysterious object that was first spotted in our solar system back in October of 2017. The name Oumuamua is Hawaiian and roughly translates to first distant messenger, which kind of gives you an idea of how unique this thing is. What makes Oumuamua so special isn't just the mystery surrounding it, but the fact that it is the first known interstellar object we've ever detected passing through our solar system. This means it came from another star system far beyond our own sun. When it was first discovered, scientists were trying to figure out exactly what it was. At first it was classified as a comet, but that idea didn't stick for long because it didn't behave like any comet we've seen before. Some thought it might be an asteroid, but even that didn't quite fit. Its strange characteristics and the fact that it came from outside our solar system has led to all kinds of theories, including the possibility that it could be an alien spacecraft.
While there is no way of knowing the exact origin of Oumuamua, we do know that it came from somewhere in interstellar space, which is essentially the reason between our sun's heliosphere and other stars' astrospheres. Basically, interstellar space is a word used to describe the areas of space that are in between our stars and their connected planetary systems. In terms of where in interstellar space Oumuamua came from, that's a bit trickier to pin down, but it's estimated by scientists to have come from the direction of Vega, a star located in the constellation Lyra. The determination that Oumuamua originated from beyond our solar system comes from its high speed, 196,000 miles per hour, and the direction from which it approached the sun, which it got alarmingly close to on September 9th of 2017 with a distance of just 23.3 million miles. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but to put it into perspective, Mercury, which is the closest planet to the sun, is situated 66.79 million miles away from the sun. Oumuamua cut that distance by more than half. That's pretty scary.
Oumuamua is unlike any object in our solar system, and that's because it's not from around here. But what exactly makes it so different? Well, first off, there's its shape. It's long and thin, often described as a cigar shape, measuring between 300 to 3,000 feet in length and about 115 to 548 feet wide. Most asteroids and comets we know about are more or less round, not long and thin like this one. The biggest question about Oumuamua is whether it's a natural formation or artificial in origin. Some scientists, like astrophysicist Stephen Desch, think it could be a fragment of something larger, like say a piece of a distant planet, for example. Another thing that makes Oumuamua stand out is its lack of a cometary tail. So normally when a comet approaches the sun, the heat causes the icy material on its surface to vaporize, creating a glowing tail of gas and dust that follows the comet as it moves. When we observed Oumuamua passing through our solar system though, it didn't have a tail at all. And it was close enough to the sun that you'd expect it to have one. So it became clear that whatever this thing was, it wasn't a comet.
So where is Oumuamua headed? Well, again, unfortunately, we really don't know, but we can make predictions based on observations. If you watched our video about rogue planets, you'd know that most objects in the universe orbit a star. Those that don't are free-floating and pretty unpredictable, but not entirely unpredictable. You see, when Oumuamua came barreling into our solar system back in 2017, it got, as I mentioned earlier, pretty close to the sun. The proximity and speed allowed the sun to actually bend Oumuamua's trajectory without capturing it in a looping orbit, meaning that instead of Oumuamua becoming a permanent fixture in our solar system, it's now headed on out, and it's highly likely it won't be coming back, which is for the best because an object estimated to measure up to 400 meters is not one you want hovering around Earth's gravitational field.
So it's unlikely Oumuamua will return, but if it does, what kind of threat does it pose, if any? Well, it came pretty close to Earth, and we were lucky this time, but it did show we have some serious gaps in our ability to spot and respond to space threats. If it had struck our planet, it would have had catastrophic consequences. It's estimated that this impact could have been equivalent to over 2,050 Hiroshima bombs going off at once. It would have wiped out an entire city or more in an instant, vaporizing everything in a 30-mile radius of the impact zone. It could have killed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, depending on where it hit. And luckily this didn't happen, but it was a bit of a wake-up call because it showed up so suddenly and took us by surprise. We do have technology designed to detect potentially dangerous objects in space, but even still, Oumuamua showed that our early warning systems might not be as effective as we thought. But they are working on better tools to improve our chances of spotting and tracking stuff like this in the future.
Something strange about Oumuamua, other than the fact that we don't know exactly where it came from, where it's going, what it is, and whether or not what it is an alien spaceship, is the fact that on June 27th of 2018, astronomers observed a non-gravitational acceleration to the object's trajectory of about 17 meters per second. The acceleration occurred just a little while after Oumuamua's closest interaction with the sun, and so at first it was believed that the acceleration was caused by outgassing, a process in which volatile substances inside of an object evaporate as the sun heats its surface. However, no such gases were observed following Oumuamua. Furthermore, had outgassing taken place, it would have caused the spin of Oumuamua to rapidly change due to its elongated shape, which in turn would have ripped the object to pieces. So instead, it's now believed that the most likely reason for the object's acceleration was solar radiation pressure, aka pressure coming from the sun's radiation that propelled it forward. I mean, it's either that or the aliens controlling it decided to rev their engine.
Alright, so speaking of aliens, now let's talk about what you've all been waiting for, the alien hypothesis. One of the most interesting and controversial ideas about Oumuamua comes from Harvard professor Avi Loeb. Loeb is an astrophysicist who spent years studying the mysteries of the universe, and he doesn't think Oumuamua is just a natural space rock, but that it could actually be a piece of alien technology. He based his idea on the fact that Oumuamua doesn't behave like anything we've ever seen before, its unusual characteristics, which I covered earlier, and as Hannah just mentioned, the way it accelerated as it moved away from the sun. It all seems very strange. Loeb suggested that Oumuamua could be a light sail, which is a type of spacecraft that moves by using the pressure of sunlight or starlight on its surface. Light sails are a concept humans have already started exploring, so it's not entirely out of the question that a more advanced alien civilization could have built one. It's a bold hypothesis, but even though a number of other scientists figure it's probably something more mundane, many of them still think it's a possibility.
There are so many questions when it comes to the who, what, where, when, how, and why of Oumuamua, and so it's no surprise really that scientists are eager to find out more about it while it's still within our cosmic backyard. In fact, on October 30th of 2017, the Initiative for Interstellar Studies launched a program called Project Lyra to see if it would be possible to send a spacecraft out to Oumuamua to observe it sometime within the next 5 to 25 years. However, recently in 2022, researchers have proposed the idea that a spacecraft launched from Earth could catch up to Oumuamua within 26 years in order to provide close-up studies, but as of right now, the project is still in the conceptualization stage, as in order to catch up to the interstellar object, the spacecraft in question would have to pass quite close to the sun, which would require extensive heat shielding, which would severely increase the weight of the craft and make the mission an incredibly difficult, complicated, and super expensive ordeal.
Another one of the biggest questions about Oumuamua is what it's actually made of. We already talked about how there was no outgassing when it passed by the sun. Outgassing can tell us a lot about what a comet is made of, mainly that it has an icy surface because the heat from the sun causes it to release gas and dust as it melts. So without that outgassing, it makes it hard to pin down what Oumuamua consists of. Some researchers think that it could be made of solid hydrogen or some other exotic form of ice that doesn't give off the same kind of tail we'd expect when it gets warmed up. But solid hydrogen is so delicate that it's unlikely to survive the long journey through space, which makes this idea a bit of a stretch. Another theory is that Oumuamua could be made of metal or rock, similar to an asteroid, but with a surface that's different from anything we've seen before. Its shiny, reflective surface might mean that it's covered in a layer of metal, which could explain why it looked so bright when it was observed, but even this doesn't fully explain all the strange acceleration and other odd behavior. Because Oumuamua passed through our solar system so quickly, unfortunately we just didn't have time to study it in detail.
Oumuamua, the mysterious object from interstellar space, is actually one of 2 objects observed by scientists that originated from somewhere outside of our solar system. The other is Comet Borisov, discovered in 2019. Borisov might very well be the most pristine comet observed by scientists to date. Like Oumuamua, we really don't know where it came from. Unlike Oumuamua, we actually know what it is. It's a comet, but not like one we've ever seen before. For one, it's incredibly polarizing. You see, when comets pass by stars, it's not uncommon for said star's radiation to affect the light reflected by the comet. With Borisov, that just isn't the case, leading scientists to believe that the comet is an undisturbed relic of the gas and dust it formed from. Furthermore, Borisov stands out because of its makeup. While comets formed in our solar system are generally made up of irregular fluffy clumps of material ranging in size from 2 micrometers (0.00008 inches) to nearly 1 meter (39 inches), the Borisov comet consists of compact pebbles about 2 or more millimeters in width. Hopefully one day we'll be able to learn a bit more about Borisov and Oumuamua, where they came from, and why they are here.
I kept saying we, like we observed, we did this all throughout that script. I'm obviously not involved in any of this research. I don't know what I was doing in 2017. It was not looking up at the sky and seeing, theorizing about alien spacecrafts.
No.
But anyway, with all that said, we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Cheers, friends.